afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Feazell, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio. That's in Christ Radio in the town of Geraldine, Alabama. Thank you so much for watching us every day, Monday through Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. Central. As I get to ride home with you in the afternoon, it's awesome that you choose to ride home with us this time of the day. So thank you so much for doing that. You can find us a number of ways. You can go to our website, and that's icradio.media. You can download the apps. A lot of folks just listen to us on the app, and that's a good thing to do too, whether that's Apple or Android. Just go to the Apple or Android store and just type in IC Radio Media. You'll find us that way. Another way you can find us also is on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications. That's in North Alabama, and Stormy can tell you about that. She's found on that station as well. You can also find us worldwide now, and that's on Abundant TV, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And also we were with the owner of Abundant TV. Rob was on the show with us last couple weeks ago, and he mentioned we'll also be in Australia. So we're excited about that. So the doors that are being opened are absolutely awesome. I'm still doing this, by the way, just pinching myself to make sure this is really happening. But thank you for all your support. Stormy is with us right now, and Stormy is the CEO with Shepherd's Cove. And everybody knows I'm talking about Shepherd's Cove all the time. I may just pop into the thrift shop anytime and take some videos. Thank you for being on the show with us today, Stormy.
It's good to be here.
Well, I'm tickled death to have you. And you guys do so many great things in the community. And I've mentioned this to you before. When I'm out and I'm talking with potential sponsors for the show, they're usually going to ask, well, who sponsors your show? Who's with you now? And when I'm talking about sponsors, they're always glad to hear it. But a special smile comes on their face when I mention Shepherd's Cove, because if you're standing in the community, it's awesome. Thank you for that.
We love being a help to our community and to our partners, and we couldn't do what we do without folks like you who help us along the way.
Well, you guys are awesome. Let's talk about, because we're talking to folks now all over the world. And also, did you know there are missionaries who watch us? It's kind of like they get to be home again when they watch the show. So we're excited about that too. So let's talk to our missionary folks as well. What is Shepherd's Cove?
Shepherd's Cove is a nonprofit entity that provides hospice care, which is care provided to terminally ill patients in their home, in the nursing home, in our inpatient unit. So people that generally have a prognosis of 6 months or less. Some live longer than that because only God knows when our time is up, and some don't live very long, but we just walk alongside them and provide supportive care to them in their final days.
And that's awesome. Now let's talk about your background, because you've been with Shepherd's Cove a long time.
I have. I am celebrating my 23rd year of being with Shepherd's Cove Hospice, and I've worked in a variety of positions here. I've been an on-call nurse and what we call a case manager, where I go out into the homes and assist people. Then I've kind of moved into management and have been over the nursing staff, been over our inpatient unit. I worked in compliance for a little while. And up until March of this year, I was our chief nursing officer for about 10 years. So just helping keep clinical things flowing, staffing and all those fun things behind the scenes to make sure that we were able to do the very best job that we could. And then of March of this year became the CEO, so over the whole organization.
And we're proud of that too. We've been appreciating everything you've done throughout the years, and I think you make a great CEO.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So we're talking about your standing in the community, but let's talk a little further than that. I know you guys host a number of events every year, and so let's talk about some of those.
Well, we just recently had our summer soiree about a week ago. Our summer soiree is our largest event of the year, and is where we do a live and silent auction. And we just get people out in the community that have the ability to give and maybe just believe in our cause. And that helps raise money for our indigent care programs and some of our non-funded programs like our bereavement team, our palliative care team. So it's a great event, and we had a lot of support this year and did very well. Then we have some other things that are kind of smaller, but just as important in different ways. We'll have our School Camp Hope events coming up in October, and that's where we provide camps to some of our school-age children and help them learn to deal with grief and loss in constructive ways. So those are supported through our community programs and partners and grants and things like that. We also will have coming up in December of this year our Lights of Love event where we honor those that have passed the previous year on hospice, and we do a tree and a roll call and things of that nature, but just try to bring hope in the time when sometimes it's very hard during the holidays, facing that. So those are some of our events now. And then of course after the first year we'll be gearing up for our Race to Remember, and that'll be here before we know it. Usually it's in March or April of each year, and again those funds help support the unfunded programs of Shepherd's Cove.
I think that's great. And I wanted to mention this about the Race to Remember. You have people who are really serious runners now, and
Yes.
they've been practicing since last year when it was over with. And they really get into it. And then you got folks like me who really can't run, but there's a place for volunteering either way. I mean, you can always have a part, whether you're a runner or not. I'm a cheerleader type. I'm one, come on, you can make it, you can make it. Here's some water.
Absolutely. We couldn't make it without our volunteers. Like you said, there's always a place here for volunteering, whether it be at one of our events or even here in the office, to going out sitting with a patient or taking them something. There's always a place. We had to provide 5% of our care by volunteers, so we're always out there looking for volunteers.
Mm-hmm. And that's also a great thing too. I mean, it not only helps the patient and their families, I wanted to mention, but it helps you too to volunteer. And I'm one of your volunteers with Cove Crafters.
Oh yes,
I had such a good time doing that. It's so much fun.
We love our Cove Crafters. They, make our little trinkets and things that we take out to all the families that we serve every month. So it's a very, very good thing that you do.
Well, we have a good time with it. And I'm going to tell you something. This is if you're a Martha Stewart type, you're going to love it. I mean, you'll have plenty to do. But then if you're somebody who's never crafted before in your entire life, and you just want to get with some of the girls and just do something to help the community, you're not going to be bored either. Nobody's bored.
Absolutely. Like you said, there's so many ways that you can be a part and help. And we are actually doing a big push right now for volunteers. And we're going out to the colleges and every, places like that, seeking people that want to help and make a difference in their community. So if you are interested in that, please hit us up. You can just call us here at the office and we'll get you pointed in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. There's another place I'd like to volunteer. Not yet. I'm kind of booked up right here with a few shows that we have going on right now. But that's the thrift shop. I love that place. And Phil always says, when I've been here inside the station, my husband Phil will say, why don't you go to your happy place and go to the thrift shop and do a video out there, okay? Because you look like you probably need a little rest stop. It's a good place to go, and you're helping as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. There is tons to do at the thrift shop. We have people that can sort clothes and put out things, and those people also help fund our mission of Shepherd's Cove and doing the things that they do there. And you can, if you've ever been there, you can imagine that it's a huge undertaking, the amount of stuff that needs to be done there. So, we would appreciate any help or anyone that loves to do that kind of thing. Or if you know about thrifting, come by and join us. We'd love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And two, folks can donate. And something I found out about a few weeks ago is you guys have a truck. And so if you're having like a yard sale, I'm not really good at yard sale, Stormy. I mean, by the time I'm out there 10 minutes, I'm like, I'm done. I'm going back in. But if you want to don't want to take all of your really neat things back inside the house or the garage or the basement or whatever, I can get in contact with you guys and the truck can come and pick it up and do it all.
Yes, we do. If they'll schedule a delivery, they'll be happy to do that. Every day we're going out and picking up stuff. It amazes me every day when I see how many people bring donations, but then how many pickups that they're doing every day. So you just get on the schedule and then they come right to you and pick it up. And
That's
it's great. We have a big truck and they can take it off your hands.
Yeah, they'll lift it up for you, so you don't have to lift a finger. Just leave it.
That's right.
But you just made the point. I mean, make sure you call, okay? Set up a time. Don't just say drop everything you're doing because you got to set up a time to get that done. Let's talk for a few minutes about the respite care because you guys are not only there to serve the patient, but the family of the patient. How does that work?
Yes, we have our own inpatient, and that's one way that we're different from a lot of other hospices is you are able to come into our inpatient and get something that we call respite care. And respite care is where you come in for 5 days to give the family a break. You might be going on a trip, or you might just be worn out, or you might have some repairs going on, or you might be having health issues yourself and need for Shepherd's Cove to take care of your loved ones. So, we get them on a rotation, like we have 3 right now that are, set to come in to receive that respite care. And so that is a wonderful thing for the families when they are going through the times that they're going through when they're on hospice care.
Really, because when you're looking out after for a loved one, that's tiring, and you don't even know what's happening until you sit down and start resting for a little while. Because you got all that
Absolutely.
energy, and that's not good for you. You really need a little bit of time off. Now,
Mm,
there's also help after your loved one passes. You guys have groups available as well. Friendships
absolutely.
are developed through that.
Um, our Brook Center is very, very active in the community. I already mentioned Camp Hope, where they go out into the school system, but they also offer groups at their building. They're actually off-site from us. It's called the Brook Center. It's just a few blocks down from us. But you're able to go there for groups that they host throughout the year in different segments. And they also do some one-on-one counseling and also do over the phone or sometimes even go to the home depending on the need, but there is support for you if you want that in very many ways. So you can reach out to them again just by calling our office number, and they'll get in touch with you and set up a time to interview you and talk to you and see what your specific needs are. But they are funded through some grants that they receive from the Children's Trust Fund, and also through our givers and donors in the community that help support them to do that.
Absolutely. We talked about a number of ways you guys are helping folks out in the community as well. And you mentioned going into the schools. And, people, most kids are not taught about. So I was a minister's daughter. We went to every funeral, everybody who passed away. So I grew up knowing all this stuff. But a lot of times we shelter the kids. And then when something really does happen, it could be a grandparent or a parent or a sibling, it's hard for the kids to know how to cope with it. And you guys help.
Absolutely. That is, like you said, this day and time, a lot of people are sheltered. They don't, used to, sometimes funerals happened even in the home. The body was brought back to the home.
I
So
remember
you were
that.
kind of exposed to death and dying from a young age, and now they're not. So these our social work staff give the kids tools to know how to express their grief in positive ways and how to work through that grief. And then sometimes when they see other folks, other children that are going through it, it helps that all when they're in groups or they come to one of our camps. So it's really, really important that we continue to foster this because no one else is doing this. And they go into, I don't know how I don't have the number off the top of my head, but many schools in our area, in Marshall and some in DeKalb County, that they go into. So they are making a huge impact on these schools,
They are.
these
And during
children.
during COVID, you guys were a huge help as well. You know, a lot of folks lost their parents. A lot of kids lost their parents during that time. And so that was a huge, huge help to the families as well. You know, you mentioned Camp Hope. And so, and I'm an animal lover. I just love animals. I would have a zoo if Phil would let me. But no, you guys utilize animals. Like horses are awesome.
Yes, that is one of the tools of expression that they use at the camp. And it's, equine therapy, and they get to do some awesome things with the horse, and it helps them just to kind of relieve some of that stress and grief through that. So that is one of the tools used. And, of course, kids love that, adults too, but that is something that we do use in those camps.
Mhm. I want to touch back on volunteers again because I know a number of kids are going to Jack State, maybe going to Sneed State, Northeast Alabama Community College. If you are thinking about a career in the health field, I think that would be a great time to go on ahead and get out there and volunteer and see if that's what you want to do.
I am a law degree. If you want to your hours. So a lot of schools and Sneed already this year trying to get those two. I don't want to say kids or adults now, but
well, you're a kid as far as I'm concerned.
We are reaching out to them and have been there. But yeah, we'd love for them to volunteer with us in whatever way they're comfortable. But, that helps them also on resume and things like that. Like you said, if wanting to go into the healthcare field, sometimes they access to the type of care that we do. And so it's another way for them to be able to do that. In some here that we want and not, some if they that on resume or they come by and they may decide that day, who that we'd love to have one.
Stormy, you may have to go to a different part of the room because you're kind of in and out. I can see you really well, but it's talking. So I've lost some of your words. I didn't hear it all. It was kind of jumbled up kind of like so it might help when you were before you moved, the sound was better.
Okay, I didn't move. Can you hear me now?
Okay, now that sounds better. Can you hear me now? We need to be on a commercial. They need to have us on the commercial. But yeah, the number of ways that you guys are helping is awesome. And I've thought of several different ways that businesses can help, because a lot of folks, their fiscal year could be, like now, it could be quarterly, and they're looking of ways to promote in the community, and they're looking for ways to get some tax breaks. How can a business benefit from helping you guys out?
Well, as I mentioned, we are a 501c3 nonprofit entity. So any donations that they make are tax deductible. So if they have anything that they are wanting to do before the end of the year, they free to do that. And we do accept donations, anytime, but they do receive a tax letter or any donations that they make to Shepherd's Cove Hospice.
And also you can set it up where it's deducted from the employee's account or from their check. Is that
yes,
right? If they wanted to do that,
they can give by check or they set it up as automatic deductions. We have very ways they can call and do it by credit card. But yes, if they want an automatic deduction, they are able to have the ability to do as well.
Absolutely. And that's just a great thing to do. And also the question is always poised this way. If you've been laid off from a company, can you volunteer? And would you be messing up your unemployment? You're not messing up anything if you volunteer.
So that's anyone. We don't have volunteers. They give the goodness of their heart. They just goals and all the things that we do for the community and for our patients. Volunteering.
Absolutely. But when you volunteer, you're not messing up your unemployment. As a matter of fact, employers love knowing you're helping out in the community. And they love knowing you're staying busy while you're being laid off.
Absolutely. Like I said, I think that looks, I mean, not only is it a good thing to do, but I think it also looks good for you on your resume if you're able to say that you've done those things and volunteered. And, we're just moving to more people do a little different than what they used to. So it's a little harder to get people to volunteer, but I hope that they can see the benefit and impact they're able to make on lives. That's why we're here. Make an impact on someone, shows, from the various people who are suffering.
Absolutely. I wanted to mention your board of directors. You have an awesome board of directors and several different stances there as well. As a matter of fact, Mike Harden, who owns the Horizon Television, he's on your board of directors. And when I told Mike about you guys, that we have you guys extra segments on television, he was delighted. He said that you guys are actually there for his mother when she passed.
We did actually have the boards. We have our hospice board, who also is our main board. The other board, we also have a foundation board. So that's a lot of different people. There's around 12, 13 people. People are helping financial goals and things that are through what we do is they do and maybe we can't be and we have our various backgrounds from business to attorneys, physicians to public relations, whatever their background may be. We have a wide variety so they can help us with their skill set to help guide and direct us as an agency. And they're also all volunteer board. So nothing get. They all serve on those boards out of the goodness of their heart because they believe in the mission.
Absolutely. Yeah, a number of ways you guys have been growing. And I wanted to mention this about the thrift shop. I was one of your customers back when you had that building out there close to Ace Hardware.
Right.
That's been a long time ago. And then you guys moved to Guntersville. And I even though it was bad parking, I still went. It was worth it to me.
Right.
And now that you're back, and you guys have also helped the Cowboy Church and Bobby Ledbetter during COVID. And it was awesome the way you guys helped because Mike or Bobby Ledbetter got in contact with me one day and he said, I'd like to go somewhere in Albertville or Boaz and, maybe feed a bunch of people. And you guys opened it up. You said, yeah, come to our parking lot. So we went out there and fed about 1,200 people that day. I wanted to thank you for that.
Wow, that's amazing. Yes, the shop certainly has changed and grown, and we just keep continuing to have to make changes just to with time, parking, more space, and more storage to store all stuff that people bring in while we transition to get it out to sell. And you said we're very community. Our community helps us, so we want to help our community where we can. And whether it's giving you a good deal or good care or providing some of the free services we do, like our bereavement and our powder service, we want to do that.
Absolutely. Stormy, just a couple minutes left in this segment. What is one misunderstanding about Shepherd's Cove Hospice, about hospice in relation to Hospice Anywhere? What is the misconception?
Hospice, a lot of people their last hours, and they're going to give them a medicine that maybe calls them to pass quicker than they normally would, when that's actually false. There are several studies that show that people actually live longer on hospice with a terminal illness, and that's because we're able to come in and perhaps manage stuff that weren't managed before, that we're able to now for medication. So we're able to do that, and you know, you want to live as long and with as much as you possibly can. So our goal is never to hate death. Some people think we want that to happen. Sometimes it does take medication to keep someone comfortable, but that's you always have a choice. You always say no. No one's going to force you. It's there to guide you and help be a partner to you and help understand what's maybe best for you or what's something that's worked before. So I think that's a big misconception here.
I think it is too. And also I wanted to, this is probably a call telling me I owe money on my college. Hey, it's 63. If I'm not paid by now, I'm never going to pay it. Also wanted to mention another thing. Let me go back. Kind of took me off. And this is something you guys do. Sometimes there's something you call, it's called last wishes. And you guys have helped families get back together.
Lots of things we've things like that. But like you said, be reconciling things, you know, that maybe they haven't told a loved one. You know, help to be able to get resolution. We party too, and we.
Stormy, thank you so much for being on the show today. And it's always awesome to talk with you guys. I always feel so uplifted when I'm talking to you because you're out there and you're a real big help in the community. And I want to thank you for that. Absolutely. Well, you guys take care. And I'm looking forward to the next segment as well. So you guys take care and I'll be talking to you later. Okay. Thank you, Stormy, for everything. Bye-bye. That was Stormy, and she is with Shepherd's Cove. I think we had some sound issues there. And but anyway, thank you again so much for watching. We're going to get ready for another awesome guest as well. So y'all hang in there and we'll be talking to you a little bit later.